When people think about moving to Canada, they picture like better opportunities, the safer neighborhood, good schools, and a better life for their kids. And yes, some of that is actually very true. But what nobody really talks about is what motherhood in Canada actually feels like behind closed doors. There's loneliness, there's pressure, there's you doing every single thing without the village you grew up with. Today, I want to share my honest side of motherhood in Canada as an immigrant mom after living here for like 6 years. The good, the hard, and the things I wish someone told me before we moved. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Treasure, and I am a Nigerian mom living in Canada with my family. On this channel, we talk about motherhood, routines, we talk about family life, immigration, lifestyle, just figuring life out as women and moms. Today's video is honestly one I wanted to make for a very long time because I feel like, online, people either paint Canada as like this perfect dream, okay, or they just only focus on the negatives, right? But motherhood here is a very layered experience, okay? Some parts have been beautiful, some parts have stretched me mentally and emotionally in ways I never expected. So if you're thinking about moving to Canada, already living here, or you're just very curious about like what raising kids abroad is really like for an immigrant mom, this video is for you. One thing I genuinely appreciate about Canada is the sense of safety and opportunities for my children. There are parks everywhere, there are libraries, there are activities for these kids, there are good schools and spaces that are very family oriented. I also love that kids are encouraged to like explore, ask questions, and just be independent on their own. So that's one point that I love about Canada. Now, another thing that helps many families is the child benefit support. Now, depending on your income, depending on your family size, that extra support can really help with the groceries, it can help with activities, it can help with clothing, childcare. It doesn't really solve everything, but it actually helps. I also love that my kids are growing up exposed to different cultures and different ways of thinking. They're learning confidence, independence, and seeing a world bigger than one environment. In some ways, life here can feel calmer, especially compared to environments where there's constant pressure or instability. Now, there's kind of like a structure here. That's what I would call it. Like there's structure, there's predictability. And as a mom, that can be a good thing, and it can actually give you like peace of mind. Even with all the good things, motherhood in Canada can also feel extremely isolating. I think the biggest shock for me was realizing that abroad, you really don't have that same village that you had back home. Back home, we had aunties, we had uncles, we had neighbors, grandparents. People are constantly around, your neighbors too. But here, it's often just you and your partner doing everything. And when you have kids, especially, multiple kids, they become mentally exhausting and very, yeah, and very, I don't know, it's all over the place, right? You're cooking, you're constantly cleaning, there's school drop-off, there's appointments, there's groceries, there's routine, while also trying to take care of yourself. Yeah, so sometimes you don't even realize how tired you are because you just keep going. Making deep friendship as an adult, especially as an immigrant mom, is also harder than people actually think. Everyone is kind of busy, everyone has schedules. So even when you meet good people, building real communities take a lot of time. You have to constantly push to break forth. I don't know how to explain it, but I think the best way to go about it, or the best way to actually explain it is you have to make an effort. If you want to make friends here, you have to make an effort. You have to go extra mile to make an effort. Back home in Nigeria, you can just go to church with someone and the next day you guys are friends, or you just see someone on your street and the next day you guys are friends. But here, you have to make appointments. You even go to their house. Like you can't just show up at somebody's house just like that. I mean, you probably have to call them on the phone and say, "Oh, are you guys available today? Can I show up today with my kid?" and all that. And when things like that are made official, I just lose interest. So my baby woke up, so I had to have a short break. But coming back to what we were saying, it's actually very hard to make friends here in Canada. And maybe for other people it's not, but I would say that also as a mom, it becomes quite difficult because most times your head is kind of like all over the place because you're trying to make sure that you pick like good friends that when they relate with your kids, they are good people and all that. So most times at the back of my head, I'm like, is it not better that I just stay by myself, have friends that I just, say hi and hello to, not very close friends, just so that they're not, I don't know, they're not very close to me and then try to influence my kids and all that. So there's just a lot of things that come with anxiety when you become a mom. That story for another day. But like we're talking about motherhood in Canada, right? I feel like if you want to make friends, if you're conscious or if you're ever wondering like how people make friends and all that, I would say that you should try community services, you should try going to the library, you should try joining church groups where you have mothers who want to just, come together. I used to go to this church called Daystar when we were living around that area. So that church, every Wednesday, they had women groups. So they had women fellowship where mothers just came together, had a cup of coffee and, had biscuits and just, interacted with one another. And it was so nice at that time when we were living around there. And because I knew that every Wednesday I would have to, just talk to lots of friends and all that. And I feel like if people do that just because they know how lonely it is to be moms. So even in libraries, you have like mothers groups where you can bring your baby. So it can be like a toddler class or, groups where you can just bring your kids and you and the moms just, interact and enjoy yourself. And one other thing that's been helping me here in Canada is routines. I try as much as possible to follow a very strict routines. But even though that I have a strict routine, I also try to go about it leniently. Let me put it that way. So it's not like a strict routine in the sense that I can have like 10 things scheduled to do today, but I wake up and this kid is acting somehow or the other kid is acting somehow and I don't know what to do. Like we wouldn't follow the routines just like that. So I follow kind of like rhythms of the day. So anything I see on that day, that's basically how the day would flow. So that can also help you if you're thinking about coming to Canada and you're like worried about, friends, worried about routines, worried about how you're going to do it all by yourself. Let me tell you, there are lots of people who are doing it. You can do it too. Try and have like a routine where you can say, okay, on this day, we're going to do this. For me, I do laundry twice a week. Before I used to do it once a week. I do it every Saturday, and I ended up my Saturdays were just jam packed with lots of activities. The girls had soccer. I would do laundry. I would clean the house, and I was overwhelmed on the weekends. Weekends are supposed to be my rest days. Why am I overworked? Why am I overwhelmed? So what I did was say, okay, you know what? I wouldn't do laundries on Saturdays. I'm going to do laundries on Mondays and on Sundays. So I share it, and the laundries are not so much anymore because I'm washing twice a week, and that has eliminated that stress of doing all those things by myself. Also, another thing that I would say that also help is try and go out. I know in Canada the weather is terrible. Like I don't know, I can never get used to it. I've been here for 6 years. I can never get used to the weather, right? But try as much as possible during the summer. There are lots of activities for immigrants. I know that as Nigerians, I know we have like New Yam festivals, we have Taste of Igbo culture, we have Nigerians in Edmonton and Canada. There are lots of groups and they have lots of activities in the summer. There are lots of them that are going to come up this summer, and I am definitely going to attend them by God's grace. So if you can, find yourself in these groups, find yourself in communities that kind of uplift you. And even if you don't want to be super involved, you can just attend and, you feel wow, you feel at home. Let me put it that way. You feel at home because there are lots of people and the culture and everything is just like back home. Also, another thing I would say is that you should be gracious to yourself as moms. It's not easy anywhere. If whether you're doing it back home, whether you're doing it here in Canada by yourself, it is not easy. Okay. So be gracious to yourself. If you're coming here, whenever you're coming here and you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this on my own. This is becoming very tiring. This is becoming very stressful. And oh my God, I don't think I can do it. And you're frustrated. Take a deep breath. Okay. Take a deep breath. There are lots of groups to join. There are lots of people to talk to, and you do great. That's all I can say is that you do great. But would I say it's worth it that I actually moved to Canada? Well, I'll say it is, in as much as yes, the social life is actually very different from back home, but I will choose peace of mind. I'll choose structure over any of those things. I love the fact that my kids' future is kind of like okay, it's going in the way and in the direction that I like, and I know that the country is actually improving. I know we're not going backwards. So Nigeria was worse. I mean, Nigeria is worse right now than when I left in 2020. 2020. Yes, I left in 2020, and the government was terrible, and now it's become worse. So I'll say, if you're thinking about moving to Canada, please, please, please don't think twice. Carry your bag. And anyway, a little backstory actually, why I actually, or we actually tried Canada, because I know that everybody's like Canada, 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 but I will say anything outside, like if you're thinking about traveling, be it UK, be it Canada, be it Australia, wherever it is, try as much as possible to explore different countries. For at first, we didn't even think about moving to Canada. Like Canada was not even in the plan, because my husband was in Australia and I was in Nigeria. And after my school and everything, we were like, okay, the next step is to move to Australia. And then I applied for Australia, and unluckily for me, or should I say luckily for me, I was denied my visa to Australia, so I wasn't able to move to Australia with my husband. And what we just did was, okay, let's start looking or start exploring other countries. So I didn't say, okay, I'm going to stay in Nigeria and just hope that Australians give me my visa. So I try to explore somewhere else. So if you've applied to Canada and they're not giving you a visa, try the US, try UK, like try other countries. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is the only place that is good. I mean, it doesn't mean that Canada is the only place that is good. So this is kind of like an encouragement for people who are in Nigeria or who are watching my videos who are not here in Canada yet, and you're looking to immigrate and you have been denied visa, because I have before. I know how frustrating it can be. I know how tiring it can be to, apply for these visas and all that. But try other places, and hopefully it works out for you. Canada is kind of like a multicultural country where there are lots of cultures here, and you have Indians, you have Chinese, you have Africans, you have the indigenous people. Like, I feel like there are lots of opportunities here in Canada, and I would say that I do not regret, coming to Canada. And I'll say that even when it comes to opportunities about jobs, because I know that some people will be wondering or thinking, oh, am I going to get a job when I come here? How is it like? How is cost of living and all that? I'll probably make another video where I kind of like break down like the cost of living, or what it costs a family. We are a family of 3 kids, five. So we're a family of five. I'm going to break down like the cost of living for a family of five. If you would like me to do that, just let me know in the comment section. I would make another video and just let you know what it costs to live in Canada, be it groceries, be it mortgage, be it rent and all that. I'll break that down. This is basically what motherhood in Canada feels like, just in case you've been wondering. So we have come to the end of this video. If there's something else you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comment section and I would do well to explain it well for you. I want to say thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe to my channel. If you want to see everything about motherhood, everything about mom life here in Canada, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.